6 minutes of this video are about confusable statements that span different competencies. 2 minutes are an integrated tagging walkthrough on a real transcript. Here's why this video matters. Within a competency, the statements are usually distinguishable. A3.1 versus A3.3 has a clean cut. Across competencies, the same word can mean different things. 3 different statements use the word acknowledges. 3 more involve curiosity. 2 are about who steers the conversation. If you can discriminate them, you can tag a session in real time without freezing. If you can't, every session takes you twice as long because you're constantly second-guessing. By the end of this video, you should be able to listen to a coaching exchange and tell me which statement just got demonstrated, even when 2 could fit. 3 statements use the word acknowledges. A4.1 acknowledges client insights and learning in the moment. A5.2 acknowledges situations the client presents. A7.1 acknowledges new awareness, learning, and movement toward the desired outcome. Same verb, 3 different objects. A4.1 is acknowledging that something landed for the client, an insight, a connection. A5.2 is acknowledging the situation the client just described, the circumstances around them. A7.1 is acknowledging movement toward the agreed outcome, tied explicitly to the session contract. Listen for what the coach is acknowledging, not how. The how can be similar across all 3. I hear that works in all 3 contexts. The what is different. Insight, situation, or outcome movement, that's the discrimination. A4.1 and A7.1 are the closest pair in the acknowledgement family. They're the 2 coaches confuse most often. Here's a transcript snippet to walk through. Client says, "I just realized I've been treating this like a logistics problem when it's actually a trust problem." Coach says, "That's a real shift in how you're seeing it." That's A4.1. Acknowledgement of insight in the moment. The coach caught the realization and named it. Now imagine the same coach later in the session. 20 minutes ago, you said you wanted to leave today with a clearer first move. You just named the actual first move, having the trust conversation. That's the movement you came for. That's A7.1. Acknowledgement of insight tied explicitly to the agreed outcome. Same coach, same client, same kind of behavior. Different statements because of what's being acknowledged. The insight itself versus the insight as movement toward outcome. A3.4 and A5.3 both involve who steers. The cut is A3.4 is about staying with the agreement that was made at the start. A5.3 is about flexing on direction when the client takes the lead in the moment. The coach attends to A3.4 by returning to the original agreement when the conversation drifts off it. The coach demonstrates A5.3 by letting the client take a turn the coach didn't plan for. They can both happen in the same session, and they often do. A coach who demonstrates A5.3 well, genuinely letting the client direct, still owes A3.4. They have to bring the agenda back when the client's flex has run its course. The trap is treating these as opposites. They're not. They're complementary. The coach attends to the agenda and allows the client to direct. The unless the client indicates otherwise clause in A3.4 is precisely where A5.3 lives. 3 statements involve the coach's curiosity, plus A7.3, which is also curiosity-shaped. Let's take the 3 primary ones first. A3.3 is curiosity specifically about the client's relationship to what they want to accomplish. It's upstream and outcome anchored. A4.2 explores the client's expression of feelings, perceptions, concerns, beliefs, or suggestions. It's mid-session and goes into the interior. A5.1 is sustain curiosity throughout the whole session. It's the through line, not a moment. Same disposition, the coach is interested, but 3 different surfaces. A3.3 is upstream, shaping the agreement. A4.2 is mid-session, exploring expression. A5.1 is everywhere, sustaining the disposition. The acid test. When you hear curiosity, ask yourself which surface this is. Is it about why the topic matters? A3.3. Is it going into how the client is feeling or perceiving? A4.2. Is it just continuing the disposition? A5.1. I'm going to read you 90 seconds of a coaching transcript. Listen and try to spot which behavioral statements are demonstrated. Note them as you hear them. We'll walk through it together on the next slide. Here we go. Transcript. TTS as Cherie reading both roles. Coach, what would you like to focus on today? Client, my team's been disengaged in our weekly planning. I want to leave today with a clearer next step. Coach, what makes the disengagement matter to you right now? Client, because we have a launch in 3 weeks and I can't run it alone. Coach, so we're working on the disengagement with a clearer next step you'd take this week. Did I get that? Client, yeah, that's it. Coach, tell me more about how you're experiencing the disengagement. Client, it's like they're showing up physically, but not bringing themselves. I leave the meetings exhausted. Coach, I hear the exhaustion. That's a heavy thing to carry into a launch. What's underneath the disengagement from where you're sitting? Client, honestly, I think they don't trust the plan. Walk through with me. What would you like to focus on today? That's A3.1. The coach issues a direct invitation to identify the desired coaching outcome. Then what makes the disengagement matter to you right now? That's A3.3. The coach goes after the relationship between the client and the outcome. Why this? Why now? So we're working on the disengagement with a clearer next step. Did I get that? That's A3.2. The coach summarizes the agreement and explicitly checks for confirmation. Tell me more about how you're experiencing the disengagement. A4.2, exploration of expression. I hear the exhaustion. That's a heavy thing to carry into a launch. A4.3, expressing support, and arguably A5.2, acknowledging the situation. Both can be tagged. Then, what's underneath the disengagement from where you're sitting? A7.3, inquiry into the client's thinking, tethered to the outcome. 6 statements demonstrated in 90 seconds. That's what live tagging looks like. Sometimes a single moment could fit 2 statements. The I hear the exhaustion line in the transcript was a good example. It could be tagged as A4.3 expressing support or A5.2 acknowledging the situation, and a case can be made for both. The rule is pick the closer fit, note the alternative in your observation form, and don't double tag a single moment for credit on 2 different statements. The tandem session observation form has a column for the secondary tag. Use it. Mentor coaching conversations get richer when you can tell your coachee. This moment demonstrated A4.2 primarily, with some A7.3 in the same breath. That kind of precision is what mentor coaching at the ACC level is supposed to feel like. You're not labeling, you're observing with discipline and naming what you see. That's the BARS mastery sequence. 3 lessons, 6 videos. You've read the document. You've calibrated on the 7-point scale. You've gone deep on every statement. You've discriminated within and across competencies. You've tagged a transcript end to end. The identification practice worksheet has 18 more snippets if you want to keep building the muscle. Use it. The discrimination skill compounds with reps. In Unit 7.2, we layer in the minimum skills requirements. The second document, ICF, gives mentor coaches working at the ACC level. The MSRs describe what each rating looks like in practice. Bring everything you just learned. Without bars, the MSRs are abstract. With bars, they make immediate sense.